Hey, I heard you like movies.
I heard you like to hustle.
I heard you like podcasts.
Well, guess what?
There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle.
Damn right.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us.
But do we actually talk about the movie?
Most of the time. Tangents galore.
Yes.
So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We may talk about video games,
Music.
Yeah, that's the big one, music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there.
Yes.
Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ.
Yes.
I am the master storyteller of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you could think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers, the Google Play, Apple Podcasts,
what else?
Podbean,
what else?
Podcast Addict,
goddamn,
all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby.
Hustle, motherfucking hustle.
Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ. We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say all that good fun stuff.
Well, you.
Don't run the listeners away, PJ.
I'm sorry.
But this is going kind of long.
Yes.
So we'll end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Hi there, I'm Lloyd.
And I'm John, and we're from Pint Comics. As we dive into your favorite pop culture topics, we may just
occasionally
use language that could be considered
globaloney.
What? No, I mean...
Oh, foul?
Exactly. Offensive?
No doubt. Crass?
You bet your ass.
Sophisticated?
What? No. Anyways, you get it by now. It's mostly just
gutter talk.
And one more thing. Watch out for spoilers. Sometimes we drop them like trousers. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Ooh, that echoed. We're going to get into this one quick. Johnny Ganache, The Manster, Scary Larry. No, we are not talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 26 tonight. This is one of our music episodes. We haven't done a music episode in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Lloyd and I had done a couple. It's been probably a year plus.
Well, we did the Kurt with the movie scenes.
Movie scenes and
that didn't really count as an album. Top 10.
No, this is straight up no movies, nothing. So what we're talking about on this one here, this episode of Pint Comics, is our top 10 favorite albums of the 1980s, okay? There are a couple of little rules that we have that we're going to go over first. Rule number 1, no greatest hits bullshit, right? Okay? We all love...
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count. There's certain greatest hits albums we all like, but that's not an album, right? That's just a bunch of singles and popular songs put together. Now, in the same vein, no live albums. Live albums are essentially greatest hits albums, just live, right? Now,
I think you made up this rule because I used a live album before.
Nah, we didn't do this before.
What'd you do? Frampton Comes Alive, you motherfucker?
No, I did Peter Gabriel live.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a Desert Island.
Okay. Well, no, Desert Island is different because that was a little different. That's right. We did that. What would you take on a desert island? But we're gonna narrow it down. Now, Larry, you have a very specific rule set that you kind of forced on yourself because who you are.
Yeah.
Let us know your rules.
So, like you said, we did the no live albums, no greatest hits. We also said one per band.
Right.
Did you tell
Lloyd that? No one told me that.
I never mentioned it to Lloyd because I thought that one was more of a, like, personally, I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt it, too. I was like, because, I mean, I could have. there's some bands that had many great records in the 80s.
I had at least one that I could have done 2 on. Yeah. So
I had a couple that I could have done a couple on, but I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do 1 per band. So I picked what I thought was their best and then moved on.
right.
But for me, being who I am, I said no punk or hardcore records.
Right. Founding member of Hatebreed, if we have to remind you again. Founding member of Death
Oh,
Threat.
that must be hard for you, Larry.
I mean,
You could have limited it.
I came up with a list of top 10 just of hardcore and punk records that I could have easily. I mean, if I'm making a list that includes hardcore punk, there's no fucking way Walk Among Us by the Misfits isn't on it. Like, there's no way Age of Quarrel by the Cro-Mags isn't on it. Like, because these are some of, not just punk records, these are some of my favorite records of all time. Dead Kennedys, Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables, some of my favorite records of all time. But I thought it would be good to keep this more towards records people know, records that were wide release. You know, like Victim in Pain
Right.
by Agnostic Front was
I tried to do
printed
that.
in their fucking basement, and I think the first was they probably pressed like 100 of them. You know, like, so these weren't wide records that you could buy at fucking every, you know,
Sam
record
Goody.
store.
Strawberries.
Sam Goody, Graf Wadman's, and, you know, other record stores. So I eliminated the Black Flags and the fucking Misfits and Sick of It Alls.
For better or worse, let's just call it. I mean, and it's not in the most pure form. And in the 80s, pop music was kind of, you know, in pop music today, you think of like that bubblegummy type stuff. In the 80s, because of the advent of MTV, everything seemed to be pop music in that vein. Obviously, not the stuff you were talking about before, but we're going to, you know, and we talked about this. Me and Lloyd talked about it, Larry. We want to do a sequel show with you. Let's do the 90s. Let's plan that out. Okay. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I know my number one right now.
And I want to say, you sent me, now we've done with you a lot of shows. Obviously, you're always on. You're basically a co-host of this show.
Yep.
And you have done a lot of list shows with us. We did our top 5 vampires, top horror movie remakes. You sent me a message today that surprised me.
Yeah.
What was that?
God's honest truth. And I told Jen, who just rolled her eyes, because that's what Jen does. My wife just rolls her eyes whenever I say anything. This was far and away the hardest list I've ever put together. When it came down to like the top 20, it was a fucking struggle.
I hear you, Larry.
Dude, this what I'm going to tell you right now is no joke. When I eliminated the last one to get it to 10, I almost teared up.
Yeah.
I did, because I'm like, how am I taking this out of a list? And when I tell you, I think you'll probably understand, but I was just like, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the other 10 and I'm like, okay, I can't take any of these out.
Right.
Like so I can't fit this amazing fucking record in here.
That's right.
Like this was hard.
That was
I don't know
like
if John told you, but I cried to him quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I already told John, I can't wait to hear all the fucking Bauhaus and Susie and the Banshees. Fucking
I told John,
Joy Division is definitely in there. There's
I
no
said
doubt.
I can't take 10. I said maybe 15. He goes,
I know.
no more. I said, well, I really can't get it lower than 25.
See, everybody probably thinks like I'm like a taskmaster. I edit the show, and that's a motherfucker. So Lloyd hits me with, well, okay, I could do 10, but let's do this. How about you, me, and Larry also come up with a consensus 10?
Yeah.
And we compare that to what we think most people. And now we've got math equations.
Yep.
And we're going to need Larry's dad on the
We
map.
needed differential equations and everything.
Yeah, and he's been dead for like 15 years.
Oh,
so
jeez.
best of fucking luck getting his math skills.
I think he'd come back for that. I think
He might. He might. He loved music, so he might
This
come
list
back for
was
that.
so hard for me when you consider I started high school in 1980 and I graduated college in 1989.
I was going to say, so for
That's your
the
formative years.
My
formative years.
Music listening years is this decade.
For Larry and I, the 80s, because we're about 2 years apart, the 80s were very much like elementary school to maybe early high school.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of our musical influences, you know, and what we love through that. Lloyd, that point had been the kicker for the Miami Dolphins for 7 years already, right? He was already a vet at that point.
Yeah.
So
89 was my sophomore year in high school.
I went into high school in 89.
Yeah.
I went into high school in 89. So,
but I will say I got into music at a really young age. My father, like I said, loved music. My mother was a classically trained pianist, and she loved music. She taught me my first song on guitar. She taught me to play "Sunshine of Your Love" by Cream
nice.
on guitar. Because when you're that good at piano, you can pick up a guitar and play. So she had just picked it up and taught me how to play. And my oldest brother was 10 years older than me. So I had all of his records.
The older brother influence.
The older brother influence was huge. I still have all my brother's records. My brother took me to my first concert, took me to see Kiss. I have all the Kiss records. I have all the Judas Priest, the Iron Maiden. I grew up in music because my brother, I was just showing, I just texted Wayne from Hatebreed a picture the other day. My brother passed away a couple of years ago, and his mom, he was my half brother from my father, but different mom. His mom gave me a bunch of his old pictures, and a lot of it was concert pictures from Ozzy Osbourne's first solo tour with Randy Rhoads, from Iron Maiden. So I'm like taking pictures and sending them to Wayne from Hatebreed. He's just like, holy shit, look at these fucking things, like right up in Gene Simmons' face from like 77. Like music was like in my house. My room was full of posters of Kiss and AC/DC and stuff like that. So even though I was still young, I was totally into music at that time during the early 80s.
Yeah.
This list for me was harder for me to complete only because I think more of my album-based love is definitely 90s and 70s stuff. The 80s, when I was a kid, I did have albums and tapes and stuff, but I was an MTV kid. So I tended to know more of the singles. You're going to see in my list, I don't know if you guys have the same thing. There's certain albums that I love that I'm not a huge fan of the band of. You know what I mean? Like the band did one album that I like, and I could really care less about the band otherwise. I have several of those. And so this one was a little bit harder for me. I think when we do the 90s one, I'm going to have a fucking 40 numbered list. So
yeah,
we got to do one-hit wonders too.
Yeah, one-hit wonder show. We have that planned out too. All right,
that's a good one.
Let's start with Larry. What would now we did say this as well, and I think we said this to Lloyd, and if we didn't, Lloyd, you're gonna start fucking around while we're talking. You said you wanted the top 3 to be the actual top 3, right?
I think that would be cool.
Seems like you didn't tell me anything, John.
Yeah. Do you even talk to this guy?
I do. Look, with COVID and we have.
It don't matter. Mine aren't in any order.
We have recorded.
Will be my top 3.
We have recorded so much just because it's like something to do. So like I lose track of like what nights we're supposed to record. So yeah, Lloyd, just kind of as we're talking, maybe figure out your top 3. So Larry, where would you start with your number 10? You got plenty of time. This show's gonna be 9 hours long.
Plenty of time, Lloyd. So we'll start with I'll start my number 10 with an artist that I definitely could have picked a couple records from. But when it came down to it, I actually had to go with his first record, which is Blizzard of Oz by Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
I could have easily
that one today.
I could have easily gone with Diary of a Madman. Diary of a Madman has my favorite song. My favorite Ozzy song of all time is Over the Mountain, and that's on Diary. But as a full record, Blizzard of Oz is a better record. You got Crazy Train, I Don't Know, Suicide Solution. It's literally just a list of fucking Ozzy hits. Like when you see Ozzy live, he does like so much of that fucking record. That record is classic. Plus, I mean, it relaunched his career, right? He was huge when he was with Sabbath, and then he gets kicked out of Sabbath, doesn't know what the hell he's going to do with himself. I think it was Sharon who convinced him to just fucking put out a solo record, and he got some guys together and made one of the greatest fucking albums of all time. Blizzard of Oz is a...
I think I remember hearing that the initial idea was the band was going to be called Blizzard of Oz. And I think Sharon convinced him just to go with Ozzy Osbourne.
Just call it your fucking name.
Just use your name.
What the fuck?
Fucking twat.
No, I was a freshman in high school when that album came out, and that was huge.
It's a fucking dude.
We were going nuts over
Mr.
that.
Crowley, Steal Away the Night. Dude, Steal Away the Night is like a fucking anthem, and that's like I think it's the last song on the record. It's such a great album. So that's the first one I'll talk about. Blizzard of Oz by Ozzy Osbourne.
All right.
Which is what, 1980? I think it was 1980. Yeah, 1980.
All right. Made it in right under the wire, 1980. Manster, number 10. What do you got?
I think my list might surprise you guys.
Okay.
It may not be what you think.
David Bowie through
Scary
David
Monsters
Bowie.
and Super Creeps.
Business as usual by Men at Work.
What do you got?
Well, this one is my only female on the list.
Okay.
That surprises me.
She has 2 fantastic albums. This is her debut album from 1987, Sinead O'Connor, The Lion and the Cobra.
Great record.
Raw, majestic, all these like themes of war and sexuality and Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
It's just electrifying. It pretty much defines her like tenacious independence. She became. That's who she became.
Does that have that song Mandinka?
Yes, it does.
I don't know the album. I like that song a lot.
I Want Your Hands on Me was in, I'm sure Larry knows.
Yep.
Nightmare 4.
Yep. As it was. Yeah, that's a great record. She's a fucking great singer.
Every track on there is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's raw.
Yeah.
Energy.
Good choice, Lloyd.
All right. I already see that I'm going to get my balls kicked in by these two. So it's all right, though. So my number 10, and I will say this is an album that I haven't really listened to much in the last few years, but I will give this credit for being the first album in my life that I ever got into. Like this was maybe the first tape I ever got. This was the first thing I listened to front to back repeatedly.
I'm already picking out what it is.
Well, it came out on September 15th, 1983. It is easily this band's biggest album of all time. It was their third album. It is Huey Lewis and the News, Sports. Larry's already laughing at me.
No, listen.
Right.
Huey Lewis is
big
great.
album.
Yeah, and that was a huge album.
There's some awesome songs. I mean, obviously, this was a hit machine. I Want a New Drug.
Yep.
Heart and Soul. You've got If This Is It. Heart of Rock and Roll. I mean, that's just some of the hits. And then you've got songs like You Crack Me Up, which is kind of like a country bluesy thing. And there's a great song on this album that it was never a single. And it's called Walking on a Thin Line. And it's about a Vietnam vet. And this is 83, who it's essentially, I hate to say it or try to make it funny. It's almost like Rambo in a song in terms of it's about a guy who comes back and he doesn't understand why nobody accepts him anymore. And people don't think of Huey Lewis and the News with stuff like that because they're like a party band. They're a good time band.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so Sports, if you lived in America in 1983, you either had a copy of Sports, knew someone that had a copy of Sports, or know most of the songs on Sports. And again, I don't go back to it too much anymore, but after doing this, I'm going to give it a couple more listens because it's been a little while. And that's my number 10. Larry, number 9.
I've seen all these in concert so far.
Huey Lewis and the News.
Oh, I never saw Huey Lewis.
My first concert.
Compounds.
My first concert.
Was it Lake Compounds, John?
No, the Oakdale, but it was still in the round. It was in the round.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I know two bands I know, not to fucking tangent because I know we tangent like crazy, but two bands with two guys that I always wanted to see and never got to see were Huey Lewis and Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Another band I would have loved to have seen live
and
never got the chance.
And not to tangent, but real quick, do you guys both know about the thing with Huey Lewis with his hearing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He cannot perform anymore. He can't perform.
He can't hear the fucking range. The vocal range is supposed to be
Menard's disease. And I guess it's rare enough that the doctors don't know enough about it to know if it's going to go away.
Right.
and they just put out what they're considering is their last album. It's only 7 songs long, and it's because at that point that's what they had finished that he could put the vocals down to. So, yeah.
Right.
All right, Lair, number 9.
All right, number 9, and let's remind everybody these are in no order until we get for 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Because this would probably be higher than number 9, but I just have it here on my list. 1988. Remember my friend Terrence introduced me to this band, and they became one of my favorite bands of all time. They still are. NWA, Straight Outta Compton.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Straight Outta Compton, NWA created gangster rap. I know people can point to other bands and other rappers that had that gangster edge before them, but nobody got as big as they did with zero fucking radio play. Zero radio play. They weren't on the radio at all. They did end up finally having a video for Express Yourself because it was like the one song with no that they could, edit out some of the swears. But that album to me is still a perfect album. I still listen to it. Me and my friend Terrence, who introduced me to them, and my cousin Dave went to see the movie opening night. And we pretty much drove everybody out of the theater because every song that came on, we just stood up and we're singing along with we were so fucking annoying. We were those people you don't ever want to be in a movie theater with. And nobody was going to say anything to us because like everybody was like little kids and, we're fucking big adults. But NWA, Straight Outta Compton is definitely one of my
great choice.
And that's one of those albums that so that pretty much started their career. And pretty much, I mean, I know they did a couple things after, but ended it too, because that's where, right, Ice Cube left right after that, didn't he?
They had their first record was called NWA and the Posse, which was basically just 2 NWA songs, and then they had like a song from their friend, this friend's band, and a song from this friend's band. It was just like a compilation of a bunch of different bands. And then they put out, I think Eazy-E's solo album, Easy Does It, came out first, and then they put out Straight Outta Compton, toured on it, and then Ice Cube quit right after the tour because he didn't feel like he was getting paid for the work that he put in.
Right.
And then they came out with 100 Miles and Runnin', which was an EP, and then they did Niggas for Life, which was their last full-length record.
Right.
And then after that, Dr. Dre left, and NWA was done.
Didn't they do that one backwards on the album? Like E full force Sagan or whatever?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's a good record. They definitely miss Ice Cube though. Even though MC Ren was a phenomenal lyricist and the DOC wrote a lot, definitely missed Ice Cube's lyrical flair when he left the band. No doubt.
All right.
No doubt.
Solid choice. Lloyd, what do you got?
I'm taking it to a different level here. Just the order happens to be in, just like Larry said. This is from 1987. This was number 1 on the Billboard charts. Spent 51 non-consecutive weeks inside the top 10. It had 4 number 1 singles. Ooh. The guy who I'm talking about was formerly of a band. He tried to get out of that teeny bopper image.
I know. Yep.
George Michael Faith.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I knew where that was going.
Yeah, I love that album. It's so good. He wrote and produced every song except for Look at Your Hands.
That is a phenomenal album, and I still listen to it to this day.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how often I'm reading comics and we have the Amazon Music on, and I put Faith on. I love just everything. I Want Your Sex, Monkey, George Michael.
Hard Day.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Father figure.
He's dead, right?
Yeah, he died like 3 years ago. Christmas Day.
3 years ago?
Yeah. Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Real shame.
Because it sold over 20 million.
It was so good.
Wow.
It was a constant rotation when I was a senior at UConn. Junior. Constant rotation on my floor. You couldn't walk down the hallway without hearing that coming out of someone's room.
Yeah.
Wow.
All day long.
It was one of the first CDs I ever got. Like, I got a CD player, and it came in that cardboard box. Remember when CD player?
Yeah, the long, tall cardboard box.
And I think for Christmas, I got like several CDs. And at that point, the funny part is, at that point, I was pretty entrenched in like hair metal and shit like that, like Motley Crue and stuff like that. But I didn't care. I blasted the George Michael. Michael.
It doesn't matter because it's so good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what kind of genre you're into.
Well, when you're a kid, though, or at least me, I'll fully admit, like I probably turned my back on things that I liked. I've had a thing. I've said it on this show many times. As I've gotten older, I don't have guilty pleasures. If I like something, I like something.
Yep.
But there was a point in my life where I'd be like, no way do I like that Backstreet Boys song. It's like, no, you know what? It's a good. I Want It That Way. That's a good fucking song. I'm not buying the album, but if it's on, I ain't changing the radio.
My list is 100% non-apologetic.
Yeah, no. You know what? Just because we talked about it and it's not in my top 3, I'm throwing it was on my list. So George Michael Faith,
good man.
Go for my number 9. So we'll go right to Larry at number 8. And yeah, we're just using the numbers right now to keep place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this was another band I could have easily gone with a couple different records, but no, this is the one. 1986, Slayer, Rain and Blood.
All right.
I mean, this, you talk about as a musician, influences on playing. Slayer is one of the Slayer was a huge influence on Hatebreed. Hatebreed's a hardcore band. Your influences must be, Agnostic Front and Sick of It All. Sure they are. But guess what? Everybody who is of that age in Hatebreed listened to metal first. Mm-hmm. So our first influences were Slayer and Metallica. These are the guys who made us want to learn how to play guitar. It wasn't until later on that we started listening to hardcore and punk.
They're like the super fast fingers and stuff.
It was these guys who made us want to be in a band.
Let me tell you real quick. For me, in high school, I was into metal. I wasn't like a huge metalhead. I liked a lot of different things. And the big 4, I liked Metallica. I loved, at the time, I was a big fan of Injustice for All. I always liked early Megadeth, Peace Cells, stuff like that I loved. Anthrax,
love Anthrax.
State of Euphoria is a great album. It was one that I didn't get on here, but it's a great album. Slayer is the only of the big 4 that I never listened to, and I'm not even gonna lie, it's because they kind of scared me. The whole thing, like they just, and I wasn't like, oh, I'm afraid of, like, it wasn't that. It was just these guys seem like fucking. Like, you got Metallica, Megadeth.
They're a little more.
They're a little more. Like, they've got an album called South of Heaven. I know what that is.
Right. Their logo, pentagram made out of flaming swords, for God's sakes. Like, their first record's got a big demon and it says "Show No Mercy." Like, they definitely. Whereas, Metallica, their lyrics, especially when they got popular, were more. Current popular events and current events, and Anthrax was kind of like a little sillier and songs about Stephen King books and things like that. And Megadeth was just weird. Megadeth, I love Megadeth, but just weird. Songs about aliens, all Rust in Peace about aliens.
Right.
Slayer's stuff was dark.
Yeah.
Stuff about Satan, stuff about Joseph Mengele. Angel of Death is about Joseph Mengele. Stuff about, the Crooked Cross is about a swastika. That was their. People were like, "Are they a white power band?" Tom Araya is fucking Spanish, and he's a Christian. He's a born again Christian. No, they're not. This is their image that they use to sell records.
Was he born again during the heyday?
Not originally, I don't think so. No,
afterwards.
Yeah, but I mean, if you looked at it from back then when they were playing that role, it was they were definitely the scariest of the big 4.
For sure.
They took the Satan worshiping of the Venom band, and they really made it their own and made it their gimmick.
Yeah, and they're the only of the big 4 too. Like Metallica eventually with the Black Album became the biggest band in the world, and eventually cut the hair and became more accessible. Megadeth, after what was the album? Countdown to Extinction, with all that, they became more accessible. Anthrax changed lead singers and became more accessible. And Slayer, unless I'm wrong, never seemed to become more accessible. There was never a point where it's like, wow, Slayer has a hit song on the album or on the radio.
No, never. But you know what? They've done their thing, and they're still doing their thing, man. I think they just finally hung it up. They just did their last tour.
Yeah.
But that's a long time. That's a long career of playing songs when you don't have any hit records. so to say. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know that they have any platinum records. I doubt they do.
True fandom right there.
Yeah,
That's for sure. True fandom. People that are, big Slayer fans.
Slayer fans are Slayer fans. There's no doubt about it.
All right. Lloyd, numero 8, right, or 7. Where are we at?
Is that where we are?
I don't even know. That was my 7.
That was your 7. So Lloyd 7. Okay.
Okay. I've had this on another list. It's 1984. I don't consider this a cheat because it was a real album. It's also a soundtrack. Prince, Purple Rain.
Oh, that's an album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 1984, there was one man in America more popular than Ronald Reagan. His name was Prince, and he was funky.
And that was my 8, by the way. I counted wrong.
Oh, that was your 8?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I counted wrong. My fault.
Yeah. So this is Lloyd's 8.
Yep.
Yeah. So this was the first one to feature the Revolution.
The Revolution.
Yeah.
It's it's you and your friends versus me
Yeah.
and the Revolution.
Yeah. I reached number 1. It spent 24 consecutive weeks at number 1 and charted for a total of 122 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had at least 4 singles, right? When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, Purple Rain, I Would Die for You.
Yep.
Total sales of 25 million.
What a record.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Darling Nikki's on
Darling
that.
Nikki was my favorite song off the album.
Great song. Great
Yep.
song. I like the Foo Fighters cover of it. I thought the Foo Fighters cover of it was good.
My after high school, I love when I say stuff like this on, because like my wife listens and she's going to corner me on this one, ask me a million questions, but my high school era girlfriend. Now I like Prince, but like I said before, I didn't have Purple Rain as a kid. So I knew the hits, but I never had the album. So I never heard Darling Nikki in the 80s. So my high school era girlfriend had made a mixtape for me one time and put Darling Nikki on it. And when I listened to the song, I went, we're going to fuck. I think this means we're going to fuck. Because we hadn't at that point. I'm pretty sure that song is my personal guarantee that I'm going to get some.
Perfect.
But that is Purple Rain, the song itself, is so fucking epic. When he obviously passed a few years ago, when he played that at Super Bowl halftime and it was raining and the stage was all Larry's favorite color, by the way. I didn't know that until today. Purple.
Yep. Purple.
Epic. And the thing with Prince that still to this day gets me is, the guy just wrote songs
For everybody.
Sinead
Everyone.
And
O'Connor.
yeah, Susanna Hoffs, Manic Monday, Carmen Electra. I mean, he probably banged her, but the music career didn't go anywhere. But his virtuosity on the guitar.
I was just gonna say, let's not forget his guitar playing. That dude is a fucking guitar
Virtuoso
god.
there.
He's a guitar god. He really is. And according to Eddie Murphy, a hell of a basketball player.
Yeah.
Not Eddie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy.
Sorry, wrong Murphy. Wrong Murphy.
All right. So that would be, we're down to my number 8. Okay. I'm going to go with a band that I've always liked. Great classic rock band of the 70s. They put a couple albums out in the 80s. One of them in 87 was a huge hit, and it brought them back. But the one that I prefer came out in 89. It actually came out in September of 89, right as I was going to high school. I remember getting it and looking at the cover and going, this is weird. 2 trucks, one truck on top of another. It's Aerosmith Pump.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a terrible fucking record.
Oh, man. I love that album. And I understand it's not 70s Aerosmith.
Oh, I love early Aerosmith, man.
Yeah.
I love fucking
Toys in the Attic.
Toys in the Attic. That's what I was trying to think of. It wouldn't come out. Oh god, dude,
That's my Aerosmith.
Kings and Queens, Back in the Saddle. Like, but that
Draw
Pump
the Line.
stuff.
Oh, I love Pump. Dude, you've got Love in an Elevator, which
that's a
just,
good
come
song.
on. That's a classic. Other Side, love that song. What It Takes, Voodoo Medicine Man, Fine, Fine. It's, yes, I get it. It's not. And this album also, because everything correlates to memory. I used to go to the gym all the time with my dad. Me and my dad were at the gym like 4 or 5 nights a week. And we would work out together, but we'd also do our own stuff alone. And I always had my giant 1989 yellow Walkman that you had to unclamp.
I remember
open,
that.
I had the yellow one.
right?
The clamp was gray. The clamp was gray. Yeah.
Yep. Had it on my workout pants, my Zubas or whatever. And I listened to this album a lot at that point. And you're there for 3 hours, so you'd listen to the album 3 times or whatever. I will agree with you guys. And I didn't go past this. I know they had some albums after this. I didn't really care. Would say I prefer 70s Aerosmith because it was a different band. But this one album, front to back, love it.
Permanent Vacation was an 80s album. Right?
Permanent Vacation is the one that brought them back. I think that's considered more popular.
Dude Looks Like a Lady.
Yeah. Dude Looks Like Angel. Yeah.
Angel, yeah. That was the huge hit.
Yeah. I just prefer this one. So
yeah, that's fine.
All right, Larry, you're number 7.
This is 1987. This tape was in my radio, which you would call a box back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Your radio was your box. This was in my box. When I got robbed for it at the Hi-Ho Mall downtown Bridgeport, waiting to meet Run DMC. Yeah.
Raising Hell.
Yeah, Run DMC were supposed to come to the Hi-Ho Mall in Bridgeport to do a signing. As soon as they got there, helicopter dropped them off on the roof. People just fucking rushed at them, and they just turned and ran back up to the helicopter. Some girl grabbed Jam Master Jay's rope chain. He turned around and punched her in the face.
Oh, Jesus.
They got in the helicopter and took off.
Mary, why you bugging?
Yeah. People started shooting. Some dude robbed me for my radio. So this was in my radio, and it is... Criminal Minded by Boogie Down Productions.
Okay. It wasn't even Run
DMC. No, it was Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded. It's their first record. Tons South Bronx, Dope Beat, The Bridge Is Over. Just a great record. The only record with KRS-One's partner Scott LaRock. He got shot and killed shortly after this was released, and KRS-One went on to a great career.
Oh yeah,
still with Boogie Down Productions, and then with his own stuff. But this first record for me, I remember when it came out. Again, my friend Terrence introduced me to it. This has always been one of my favorite records, and one of my favorite, maybe my favorite hip hop record of all time. I'm not sure.
All right,
it's up there.
Lloyd, what do you got?
In 1986, I went to a concert. This was in New Haven. I got a little piece of Peter Gabriel's jacket.
Oh, I've heard this
He does the crowd surfing. I have it to this day in my closet over there in his album, So. That is not the album I'm picking.
Oh, okay.
1980. Like he threw a curveball, kind of like I just did with the whole Run DMC thing.
Yeah, because Raising Hell was 85 or 86, I think.
Raising Hell was one of the ones that I almost cried taking out of my top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I struggled with that too.
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel, eponymous third album, Melt. He's got the face and the lines are coming down and it's all melting.
I remember the cover. Give me some songs. Give me a song.
The only song that you may know on this is Games Without Frontiers.
Yeah, okay.
Or as most people think, she's so popular.
You sounded just like him right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's incredible.
This album basically established him as one of the most ambitious, innovative musicians. Features the very opening track is called Intruder.
Oh, I know that song.
Fantastic song. It's about an intruder, a home intruder. It's a home invasion from the intruder's point of view. Features Phil Collins on drums.
I know that song because Primus did that on Miscellaneous Debris, their covers EP in the 90s. Yeah.
So when he put this album together, he had, Phil Collins, obviously his former bandmate of Genesis.
Yep.
He developed his sound from this album because Peter Gabriel limited them to no cymbals. So he basically said, when you tell artists what they can't do, they get creative. So that sound, that distinctive In the Air Tonight drum sound, that was developed on this album.
Interesting.
This album goes from one song to another. It's got, themes of There's Home Intrusion. There's Stephen Biko. You know that song Biko?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's about that. It's about war, Games Without Frontiers. It's about a family snapshot. Is an assassin, somebody assassinating somebody from the assassin's point of view. It's very dark. It's brooding. It's got the world music. You know, he started getting that world music sort of beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. This is the music that I first got introduced to in college. Like I had heard Games Without Frontiers and Shock the Monkey and stuff like that, but I actually sat down and listened to an album in someone's room, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, you just completely opened up my eyes to something beyond Led Zeppelin. You know,
Right.
never heard anything like this before, and I've never looked back. This is like top of my line kind of stuff.
Wow. That's deep. All right. So this would be my numbers. What are we at? 7? We're on 7 still. Here is one of those bands that I love this album. I still listen to this album to this day. I like some of their early stuff too, but didn't really follow after. When this album came out, by the way, August 3rd of 1987. When this band recorded this album, it took 4 years due to all kinds of issues, certain band members getting hurt very badly. The writing process took a long time. They had to start and stop multiple times.
I know where we're going.
But the idea behind this album was they set out to make the rock version of Thriller, meaning they wanted to be able to put on as many hit singles onto an album as possible. This album has 12 tracks. 7 of those tracks were singles, if not hit singles. And one of them is still, you know, I mean, it's a huge, huge song. Def Leppard, Hysteria.
Mm.
All right. Again, not a band that I've never seen them live, but this album to me, it starts off with Women, Rocket, Animal. I mean, it just boom, boom, boom. Love Bites, which to me, Love Bites is like one of the weaker points of the album, but that's still a huge song. And then you get to the 5th and 6th songs and Pour Some Sugar on Me. Now, that also isn't my favorite song on the album, but I cannot tell you that that's not a fucking anthem.
It's one of the biggest rock songs of all time.
I used to work at Sam Goody, and we used to actually get up on the counter when that came out and like dance around up on the counter, play that in the store. They
finished recording this album. I was reading about this album. Finished recording it. They're sitting around mastering it. And what's the guy's name? Mutt Lange, who produced this. Joe Elliott and Phil Collin, the guitar player, are fucking around with a melody. And Mutt Lange says, what is that? It's Pour Some Sugar on Me. They write it, put it together, record it, and added it to the album. And it's the biggest song of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Armageddon it. And then, those are some of the singles. And then Gods of War, Don't Shoot Shotgun. It's from front to end, like a pretty perfect album. And it's one of the ones, like I was saying earlier, it's a band that I'm not going to throw my panties up at Joe Elliott. I'm not a huge Def Leppard fan. I do like Pyromania. And there was some good stuff on High and Dry. Yeah. But this album, and again, like I said, it was supposed to have started in 84. Rick Allen loses his arm. And, one of the things I never knew until a couple years ago, like the joke is, like Larry said to me a couple weeks ago about something, like I was 46 when I found out. Do you know that they reattached Rick Allen's arm successfully? Yeah. And then they had to take it off again because it went bad again?
Yeah, it didn't take.
I didn't know that.
It didn't take. So he thought for like a day or two he was going to be okay, and then it started getting infected, and they had to fucking amputate it. You got to give this guy credit. Yeah. He designs, along with these engineers, this drum kit that he could play. Drummers already play with their feet, but now he's playing stuff with his feet that he shouldn't be playing with his feet. And again, it's literally the rock version of Thriller, and they came out 3 years apart, 5 years apart, whatever it is. So, all right, that's my number 7. I'm sorry, were you saying that?
Yeah, good choice.
All right,
yeah, that is a good choice. Pyromania was actually in one of the ones I took out. Yeah, I'm a much bigger fan of Pyromania.
I listened to the whole album yesterday.
Yeah, I cannot deny that Hysteria is a fucking hit machine.
Yeah.
It really was. Did you see the? I think VH1 did it. It was like a made for VH1 movie about the story of Def Leppard.
Years ago, yeah.
It was good, and that's where I learned about the arm. When that they had originally attached it, and it didn't take.
Oh, see, I probably must have forgotten that. But
Probably.
they're from the same section of England, like Sheffield, that Black Sabbath is from.
Yeah.
Which is, anytime you see like a movie that's set there, it's just like this bleak fucking place with factories.
Right.
And
Right.
they were a bunch of kids, and they've been together at this point for like 45 years.
Yeah, forever.
That's pretty serious right there.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, what do you got for your number 6?
We did some hip hop. All right. Let's go with another one of the big four. Obviously, another band that you could have chosen several records, but I went with Master of Puppets by Metallica. Yeah, that was the first one I ever heard. So it's always been the one that's really stuck with me. I love them. I love everything up through And Justice for All. I love every fucking thing they did.
Isn't it cool? It's the first one that really sticks with you.
Yeah. Master of Puppets is just, and that's another one. Not a hit machine. Obviously, back then they weren't radio play. They weren't radio play until 1. But every fucking song on Master of Puppets is a fucking banger. Battery, Master of Puppets, Thing That Should Not Be, which is about Lovecraft, Disposable Heroes, Damage Incorporated. Even the instrumental was written by Cliff Burton, who died on that tour.
Terribly, by the way.
Yeah, fucking out the window of a bus.
Yeah, and then the bus landed on him, right?
The bus fell on him, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Should have been Lars, man. Should have been Lars. Napster would still be around.
Poor Sean, what's his name?
Yeah, that was a fucking, obviously, huge fucking blow to metal when he died. Metallica, persevered and went on to some huge things. But Master of Puppets is still to this day a record that I can listen to front to back.
You had mentioned to me, as we kind of talked a little bit, you would use that as an example. You didn't know whether to keep Master or Kill 'Em All. So you obviously went with Master over Kill 'Em All.
Yeah, and it was mainly because it's the first one I heard.
Yeah.
It's the first record I heard. My friend Scott Zajak's older brother, I remember being in his basement and he played it, and it's just fucking mind-blowing.
You got me. You got me forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they had me until the Black Album, anyway.
All right, Manster, what do you got for your number 6?
I got no stories about this one. I never saw this band. They're a great band.
Don't even like them.
I don't really like this band. I don't think they ever became a huge band. This album is 1980. I'm talking about Talking Heads, Remain in Light.
Yep.
This album is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're from New York City. A lot of people think, Brian, what do you call it? David Byrne, and the band was just sort of his little thing. But they came together on this album after their previous success. What was that last album before that? I can't remember. This one, though, they got different. They got like all these different styles, like this, what they call polyrhythmic structure. You know what that is?
Yep.
That's when you're having different like melodies and rhythms coming around. They're not really connected, and they make it all seamless. They do such a fantastic job. He was actually struggling with writer's block, so he was doing this sort of stream of consciousness scat sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then he developed a lot of the lyrics on the songs. They're just sort of nonsense, really. But he kept doing this scat thing, and he's just making like these rhyming sounds until it actually developed into something. And Brian Eno had a big part of this album, challenging them, telling them like, use your mistakes. It's not got to be this slick thing that you do. Just go with it.
Yeah.
And they really did. And they came together. And something that I just learned, the last song of this album, called The Overload, doesn't really fit the style of the album. And it turns out that it's them trying to emulate Joy Division. They had never heard any Joy Division. They had only heard descriptions of the music. So David Byrne tried to put together what he thought would be a Joy Division sound. And if you go there, go listen to it tonight. It's called The Overload. It sounds just like a dark, brooding Joy Division ballad.
This is the album that has Once in a Lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the 4 red faces on the front, which was designed by Tina Weymouth.
This band is one of the few bands on this idea of what we had with the list that I had to divorce myself from the No Live album, because if we did, Stop Making Sense would have been on.
Album.
If you've never seen the movie, it's incredible, and the album is incredible. And at that point, if you see the movie, it's Talking Heads was 4 of them, but by then they had what's his name, Bernie Worrell on keyboards. They had like an extra guitar player. They had background singers, so it was much bigger at that point. Also, if you have not seen it, David Byrne has a Broadway show right now he's doing. And he's playing basically Talking Heads and his solo songs on Broadway with like this like large group of musicians, and they do like this kind of like dance numbers and stuff. Check it out. I don't remember the name of the show, but just look up David Byrne on Broadway, and it's very interesting. It's very cool.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Yeah,
Yes,
he is.
Yeah, he developed this. This album, if you listen to it, it's got like all these like looping parts, like everything's like moving. They didn't actually have looping samples. They didn't have synthesizers. They learned how to play all these things, and they just played them over and over and over in a loop repetitively. He basically, according to David Byrne's words, he said, "We are human samplers."
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And they hate each other too. The 3 of them hate him, and he hates them.
I think most good bands do, actually.
Yeah. My number 6. Let me see here. What do I want to put where? You know what? I'm gonna go with 1987, July 21st. One of the biggest rock bands of all time, and it all comes back to this album, because essentially everything after it really didn't amount to this album. People consider Nirvana in the 90s. This is the 80s version in terms of like revolutionizing music. It's Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. I think now a lot of people, I kind of go opposite on this album. A lot of people love this album all the way through, and I do too. And a lot of people I hear love like Rocket Queen. I think this album is front loaded. Like when I get to like My Michelle and Rocket Queen, I'm kind of, I don't know, they're just not the songs that jump out at me. But you start this album off with Welcome to the Jungle, and you're going to, I'm trying to think of the order, but It's So Easy.
Yep.
You go into Night Train. You go into They're Out to Get Me. You go into Mr. Brownstone. That's shit. Like, this is just like, this is like just fucking great song after great song after great song. And unfortunately, this is a case of a band that never, to me, I know I have friends that love the double album, and it was a step in a different direction, and they were getting bigger, but nothing ever equated to this again. But on their behalf, most bands are never going to have an album like Appetite for Destruction.
True. And I'll disagree with you a little bit, and I will say it's a perfect record from song 1 to Rocket Queen. I think every song on that record is perfect. You're Crazy, Anything Goes, Think About You. There's not a song on that album that I personally don't think is perfect. I think every song on that record is perfect.
Yeah.
That's another one for me that was a huge influence on me playing it. Slash is one of my favorite guitar players of all time. When I was learning how to play guitar, I had a picture of Slash taped on the back of my guitar. Him and Jimi Hendrix were like it for me. Like I wanted to sound like them. Slash, I'm still mesmerized by his playing. When I hear him soloing, just the heart, the blues, the heart that he puts into his solos is just fucking incredible. Yeah, I think that's a perfect record.
Yep.
All right. Like I said, I feel more like it's front loaded. I do like it all the way through, but I think those first like 5 or 6 songs, it's like,
they're huge.
Shit. Like, holy shit. Mr. Brownstone. I mean, I don't know. And the sad thing is it all comes down to, like we joked before about bands that hate each other. The egos in this band were uncontrollable. Axl Rose is,
No, the ego
Yeah.
in this band was uncontrollable.
yeah.
Everybody
Axl Rose-
else was fucking fine.
Yeah.
Really, Slash has no fucking ego. Izzy Stradlin just doesn't like people in general. Duff McKagan's a punk rocker, dude. He's just a fucking normal punk rock dude. He came from fucking LA punk rock bands. Like, there's no ego there. I don't know from Steve Adler or Matt Kramer, but the whole ego in that band was Axl Rose.
Yeah.
He was the fucking. If it wasn't for him and his fucking dumb shit, then they might have put out another great record.
Yeah.
It's another one I listened to today.
Did you really?
I
Yeah.
did nothing but listen to albums on my list today. On
Nice.
my long list.
Nice.
All right. So that was me. That was what, number 6? So we're on 5 to 1?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Larry, what do you got for 5?
You know what? I'll just say Appetite since I was just talking about it because I do have Appetite in there.
All right.
We'll just fucking circle it right around. Like I just said, for me, a perfect record. I love Appetite for Destruction.
Lloyd, do you want to complete the trifecta, or is it higher on your list?
Unfortunately, it's a little higher than number 10.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. What do you got for number 5?
Whatever it is. 1980 in the U.S. It was released in 79
That's
in
fair.
England.
That's
but
fair.
It was released in January of 1980.
Oh, motherfucker.
The
I think I know
Clash,
it.
London Calling.
How the fuck is that not a top 3 record?
It is nearly a perfect album. I mean, it may be perfect.
Yeah.
Right from song 1, right up to Train in Vain, which was an add-on.
Yep.
It is awesome. It merges styles, beyond their punk roots.
Oh, everything.
Yeah, reggae,
reggae,
ska,
everything.
R&B, pop, jazz, hard
And
rock.
I fucking hate ska.
I know you do.
I really do, but
But they do it well.
But they do it well, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it when they do it.
And when I put on that album, you listen to it, and you're like, oh, I'll listen to a couple songs. And you can't. You can't just listen to a couple songs because one to the next, to the next, to the next, they're just perfect.
Yep.
Awesome.
I don't know how you don't have it in a top 3. I don't.
I do like that album. It's not on my list at all, but I do like that album, but I don't have that like familiarity with it. I do, it's not one that I throw in and I can tell you every track. And that's kind of what I tried to base my list on, was stuff that I can okay, I know all the tracks in this album. I love like Rudy Can't Fail, stuff like that.
You probably know more than you think.
I know the album because I actually, I've always listened to the album. That and I know it was there's the last one, Combat Rock. Yeah. I always liked. I mean, that's their classic. What was it? Brand New Cadillac. I love that stuff. But Jimmy Jazz. Yeah. Lost in the Supermarket. It's a good album.
Yeah. Yep.
It just did not make my list. So
I have a real nice deluxe CD version of it.
Nice. And I think we know what one of Larry's top 3 is.
Yeah,
and we know what one of Lloyd's top 3
mine is not in any order. I'm just scrolling, and this was the next one.
There you go.
So,
You're going to give us 3 through 1.
It's going to be my last 3, whatever the last 3.
All right. You're such a stickler for the fucking rules. You always want different things to be done, and then we're going to do this, and you're like, no, I'm gonna put the first one at number 1.
See. I'm not sure what they are. I didn't get.
All right. All right.
This was a double album, but it was it only cost as much as a single album when they released it.
Was it the nice price? Remember that little sticker?
Yeah, nice price.
Nice price.
Yeah.
All right, so this would be
for taking your number 1.
5, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So my number 5, I am going to go with, this is tough, November 30th, 1982. This is the pop version of Hysteria, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Yeah. This is, look, get it. Michael Jackson, problematic. There's all kinds of stuff. Let's just get past that, and let's not lie to ourselves. This is one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
The Thriller, Beat It. The girl is mine. PYT.
Gotta be human nature.
Human nature.
Yeah.
This is literally, Quincy Jones said, let's put together a hit machine, Michael. And Michael said, okay,
Quincy.
Get it.
Got it. Michael
and they absolutely did it. One of my favorite things of all time is it on the inside gate cover, or is it just like a alternate photo? The album cover is Michael in the white suit.
Yeah.
You ever see the one with him and the tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's inside the album or if it's just like an alternate from that shoot.
I don't remember.
Human Nature, written, by the way, by the Porcaro brothers from Connecticut, Rocky Hill, Toto. It was a melody that they were working on. The story was, I saw it on like VH1, Behind the Music About Thriller, was that one of the Porcaro brothers' kids asked him why, he was like 6 or 7, why someone bullied him at school. And he said, it's just human nature. And he said, that's a good lyric. He took a tape recorder and just said, tell him that it's human nature. And somehow Quincy Jones heard that and said, fucking write a song around that. And there you go, right there.
Quincy knows.
Yeah, well, you can't doubt Quincy Jones.
No, you can't ever. Absolutely not.
I think some people would put Bad in their category. I liked Bad as well, but it's not Thriller.
I love Bad.
No, Thriller is the perfect Michael Jackson album.
Yeah.
Bad has, I think it's on Bad, my favorite Michael Jackson song. No, are you fucking kidding me? I'm drawing a fucking blank on my favorite Michael Jackson song.
Leave Me Alone?
The way You Make Me Feel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's on Bad, I think.
I'll tell you, on Bad, one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs, and it's corny. It's a love song. I Just Can't Stop Loving You. That song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I hear that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Damn. All right.
Are you going to cry? Looks like you're crying.
No, I'm good. Let me get, I'm back. All right. So let's move into, let's go to number 4. Let's go to Larry's 4.
Yeah. God, this fucking record. What year was this one? 1988, I think. 88. I got it over here. Yeah. June 1988. Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Everything by Public Enemy is incredible. Bum Rush to Show. The next album, Fear of a Black Planet.
That's the one that I got on. That's 1990 though.
90. So, yeah, that was 1990. If we do a 90s list, you're gonna see me say Fear of a Black Planet because that's got Terror Dome and that's got oh God, what a great
Burn Hollywood Burn.
I smell a riot going on. Yeah, fucking love it, man. It takes a Nation of Millions is just insane. Bring the Noise. Don't Believe the Hype, Rebel Without a Pause, Night of the Living Bassheads, just fantastic. Chuck D is one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
And listen, when it comes to hype men, who better than Flavor Flav?
None.
Flavor.
Who better than Flavor Flav? You got Terminator X behind the wheels of steel. Yeah, man. Public Enemy has just always done it for me. Yeah, I actually got sent home from school for singing Public Enemy in the hallways. I just walking down the hall and I threw my fist up and yelled out, "Yeah, I'll check out a movie, but it'll take a black one to move me." And Miss Torasola called me into her office and sent me home. She's like, "You're trying to incite something."
You're evil and disrespectful.
Like, what do you mean I'm trying to incite something? What are you talking about? But yeah, Public Enemy takes a Nation of Millions to hold us back. Almost cracked the top 3. I could have made a case for it to be in the top 3.
All right. Lloyd, what is your numero quattro?
The next one in line, I'm gonna stay in the rap groove here.
Yeah.
In 1986, the Beastie Boys, License to Ill.
Ah.
Yeah, that is a great album. I think that's the first album to top the Billboard album chart. First rap album.
Yep. Probably would be.
Rolling Stone called it the best debut album of all time. It was fantastic, man.
It is a great record. That's one of those where I actually remember the first time I heard it. I was at a restaurant called Briarwoods in Bridgeport, and we were just skateboarding outside, and this kid Jeff Mahalik came up and started playing it. And I remember it was "She's Crafty" was the song he was playing. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? And then he showed me. I remember he pulled out the tape. He pulled out the tape and showed me the airplane that said "Eat Me" like backwards or whatever the hell it said. And I was like, holy shit. But yeah, what a great fucking record.
It's loaded with samples, that album. It's with When the Levee Breaks drum beat. So you already got me. If you're doing the Led Zeppelin drum beat, you already got me.
That's that was Rhymin' and Stealin', right? They did the
Rhymin' and Stealin'. And then She's Crafty has the Ocean riff.
Yep.
And then another song has Custard Pie.
Yep.
So 3 Zeppelin samples just on this one album.
And I'll say that I love that album, but Paul's Boutique actually almost made my list. Paul's Boutique is my favorite. That's my favorite Beastie Boys record. That almost made my list.
If you take the album cover of License to Ill and cover the top half of the airplane, it's a joint.
Yeah.
You ever done? Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Because it's crashing into side and it's all crumpled.
The funny part about License to Ill, I mean, these guys made that album when they were like 17 or 16 or whatever. They were very young.
Punk rock kids, man.
Right. And they were punk rock kids. I've talked about it on the podcast.
And they changed rap from that point on.
Right. Yeah. They did. I remember the first time I ever heard, like Larry said, the first time I ever heard of the Beastie Boys was seeing the video for Fight for Your Right. But the first time I ever heard anybody listening to them was a friend of mine, this kid, Terry, who was a black kid, was listening to them on his headphones at the bus stop. And I asked him, I said, Terry, what are you listening to? And this is literally 35 years ago. And I still remember him saying, these three crazy ass Jewish white boys.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said to me.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
That's exactly what they are.
Yep.
Yeah. If you remember early on in the show when I was talking about hardcore records and I said Age of Quarrel by the Cro-Mags would be on the top of my list all the time. Harley Flanagan from the Cro-Mags is great friends with MCA. There's actually video of MCA playing bass with the Cro-Mags at fucking shows in New York City. Like they remain friends for forever. Like those dudes were a big part of the New York hardcore scene.
Yeah.
Before they blew up. Matter of fact, they were in a punkish hardcore band. What the hell was it called? Cookie Puss.
Yeah,
man. Great record, great band. What a shame about MCA.
Yeah.
I feel that they would still be recording if he was still alive.
They would.
I have
really
their
do.
last one.
Yeah. Hot Sauce Committee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part 2, which
Part
they
two,
never
right.
put part 1 was
Sure what
recorded.
part 1 is.
Part 1 was recorded and they were going to put it out after. And I've talked about on the podcast a couple years ago, we did our best of 2018. Lindsay got it for me for Christmas, the Beastie Boys book. I still read it. It's this great book that MCA obviously has stuff in it, but he had passed away. But Adam Horovitz and Mike Diamond put this book together, and it's just stories and photos of their whole career. It's amazing.
Yep.
If you've never seen it, it's
Married
great.
to Ione Sky before, right?
Adam Horovitz was, yeah. Yep.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yep.
very briefly. Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's married to
Good for him.
he's married to the woman Bikini Kill. What's the Catherine oh shit, I can't think of her name. One of the Riot Girls. She's one of the Catherine Hanna, I think is her name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's his wife of several years now. All right, so License to Ill. All right. So my number 4, we'll just go right into it. It released on July 25th, 1989, the Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique.
Nice.
There it is.
This is, to me, I love the Beastie Boys. I have all their stuff. I really love the 2 they put out in the early 90s, Check Your Head and Ill Communication.
Oh, they're all
Those
great.
2 albums are, because they're rap and punk and, all that stuff. But Paul's Boutique was a fucking failure when it came out. Like, this album didn't sell.
Yeah, it
almost ended their career. They didn't record
Sam
again.
Goody when that came out. No one was buying it.
No one bought it. You talk about samples on the first record. Like, how the fuck? Like, this is a classic case of you got to wonder, how did they clear all the shit they got on this album?
And still make money.
Yeah. I mean, the Psycho.
I counted a list of 41 samples on License to Ill.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
It's got to be double on Paul's Boutique. There's so much in there. The funny part of Paul's Boutique is that the single, the song that people might know, is the worst song on the album is Hey Ladies. It's a fun song, but it's the least indicative of the rest of the album. Fucking looking down the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
Eggman.
Yeah.
No, they just got my little cousin essay. I love that record. And I've read this before, and I read it again doing research on this. But supposedly, Paul's Boutique was Miles Davis's favorite album of all time.
Come on.
And from the time it came out to the time he died,
That's awesome.
I listen to it almost every day, which is amazing.
Dude, if that's true, what else do you need on your fucking resume?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could easily just retire on
Forget
on
Kind
that.
of Blue. Listen to Paul's Boutique.
So let's get into our top 3. Larry, number 3.
Number 3, a little record called Purple Rain by Prince.
All right. I heard of that one.
Yeah, that's I think we talked about it before. if I had to pick a favorite song, it's probably When Doves Cry. That's just always been, I don't know, makes me sentimental, makes me weepy, makes me yearn for better days. Yeah, Purple Rain. I think we've talked about it enough.
When Doves Cry, that song features no bass.
No, and it doesn't need it either.
No.
Yeah, I don't question Prince when it comes to music.
No, it's not my place to question Prince.
Yeah, 100%. Nope, it's my place to play fucking silly power chords really fast.
All right, Manster, you're number 3.
All right, so if we're at number 3, this one's a follow-up album to their previous commercially successful Highway to Hell. 1980, AC/DC, Back in Black.
Black in Black.
They got themselves a new singer in Brian Johnson. Although they wanted to quit, they were encouraged by friends and family. No, just get a new singer and keep on. And they recorded in 7 weeks in the Bahamas and came out with Back in Black.
And how often does that ever work? How often
you replace a singer? Yeah.
Right. Nope. It does. It's happened. Sammy Hagar, whether you like it or not, it worked. It does happen.
But not so immediately.
And not much less than it doesn't.
And you don't usually get bigger after.
Right.
Because don't get me wrong, I fucking love Bon Scott. I love Bon Scott, and I love that version of AC/DC. But they got bigger with Brian Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And you said Mutt Lange before. Yeah, Mutt Lange produced this, and he demanded perfection from Brian Johnson. They did so many takes. I guess he had to breathe in just the right spots because Mutt was afraid that people wouldn't believe that it was really done and it wasn't like put in afterwards.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Brian Johnson was not happy. Yeah. This bad boy has sold 50 million copies.
Oh, that's it?
50 million. 8th all time.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, it just goes Hell's Bells, Shoot to Thrill, What Do You Do for Money,
Yep.
Oh, The Bell.
Those who sold our whatchamacallit, for those about to rock is on there.
No, that was the next one.
Oh, that's right. That's the album.
Rock
that's
and
the
Roll,
gold.
Noise Pollution.
That's the one I was trying to think of.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That was the one.
The Bell and Hell's Bells. They found a foundry nearby, and so they were, they got the foundry to make them a bell, but it was taking too long. They wanted to get the album edited and stuff. And so they went for a church bell, and they couldn't go for it because every time they rang the bell, they would hear like fluttering birds and stuff. So it didn't work. Finally, the bell came. It was perfectly tuned, and you got that classic bell sound.
Yep.
Instantly recognizable.
Yep. And that starts off the album, right? That's the first song. Yeah.
The very first thing.
Yep. You Shook Me All Night Long. Did you even say that?
No, I didn't even say that.
Yeah.
No.
Have a Drink on Me is a great, what a great record.
Giving the Dog a Bone.
Yeah. Giving the Dog a Bone. A great fucking record, man. That was, remember earlier I said I almost shed a tear knocking one out? That's the record.
Oh, man.
That's the record
I would see
that I literally it was between that and Rain and Blood for me. And I went with the one, the way I did it was I went with the one that I still listen to the most.
Right.
Yep. And I still, even though I do still listen to Back in Black quite a lot, I do definitely put in Rain and Blood more often. Okay. So that's how I made the decision, and it fucking really hurt.
Yeah, as far as like
hurt to leave it out.
Arena rock, this is like the leanest and meanest balls out record ever.
They're another hit machine though. They really are, dude. Fucking Malcolm Young and Angus Young just fucking. I mean, I think Malcolm did most of the writing, didn't he? Like he just churned out fucking hit after hit. Stephen King wanted to use a song for fucking Max. We'll write you one. We're not going to give you one. We'll just write you one. And they fucking wrote the whole fucking record. Who made who? Yeah. Like, it's just incredible, dude. Oh, what a band.
The best part of that movie.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, well, that movie's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, for sure.
Shown at Connecticut Cult Classics last year. That's a great night. That was a good time. Just get to see that guy get murdered by a Mountain Dew can. That was good. Yeah. Honey, this thing called me an asshole.
Fucking
I like,
coach.
you know what I like about that movie, tangent real quick, was how the girl in the movie fell in love with Estevez's character in like 0.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like she meets him and she's like, I will have your babies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like, I'm a dishwasher. Like, what? Like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm an ex-convict dishwasher.
All right. So my top three are definitely going to skew popularity. And these are things that are just more, not that I went for popular on my list, but these are ones that I still listen to the most to today. And I would doubt are going to be on anybody else's list. So I'll go with number three. I will say May 3rd, 1988, Living Color, Vivid. Favorite band of mine. And this is a perfect album front to back for me. It is not their best album. Their next album, Time's Up, was, I think, their best album, but that came out in 1990. What's that?
I like Vivid more.
I like Vivid a lot, but I prefer Time's Up. You've got Funny Vibe featuring Public Enemy, Cult of Personality, Glamour Boys, I Want to Know, Memories Can't Wait, a Talking Heads cover. This is just a great album. They were kind of discovered a little bit by Mick Jagger, and Mick Jagger had a lot to do with this album. And this, the lead singer, Corey Glover, hooked up with this band, and he was originally an actor. He is, some people know, he is Charlie Sheen's buddy in Platoon, who stabs himself in the leg at the end of the movie to go home. Yeah.
Corey Glover was?
Corey Glover is
I never knew that.
Stabs himself in the leg at the end of a Platoon. Yeah.
I had no idea. I don't think I ever knew that was Corey Glover.
Yeah, he was a stage actor and a musician. And I think shortly after he got back from that is when he hooked up with Vernon Reid, who, I'm not a musician, but Vernon Reid is just one of the sickest guitar players out there. And the drummer, Will Calhoun, I've seen these guys live several times because they broke up in the mid 90s and got back together in the early 2000s. So I
saw them in an early Lollapalooza.
Yeah. They played one of the first Lollapaloozas. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you my stupid Living Color story?
No.
When I was at UConn, a buddy of mine, I think my roommate, we were either going to go see this band at the ROTC hangar, or we were going to go home and watch some music videos. So I decided to go home and watch some Cure videos.
And you missed Living Color.
Sure enough, it was Living Color that was playing at the ROTC.
Well, I would have been jealous. I would have gone.
Vernon Reid was he's a beast, man. He really is. Beast of a guitar player. Never a favorite band of mine. But talent is talent, and that dude is just, he's a hell of a guitar player. It's still, dude, I've known how to play Cult of Personalities for, I don't know, 20 something years. It's still hard to play.
Yeah.
It really is a hard song to play. And to be playing it for 20 years and still have a hard time with it, you know that dude's really fucking good, man.
Beast mode.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Larry, numero dos, number two.
We're not gonna break any new ground here, guys. I'm sorry, but my number two is London Calling by The Clash.
All right. All right. Well, hey, that speeds things up, but still.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So
perfect record, like we said.
Manster, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to have this on theirs or my next one. Speaking of The Cure, 1989, Disintegration. This was basically their comeback to the brooding gothic rock sort of genre. They had done some poppy stuff simply because critics said, this band is predictable. They're going to do gloomy rock, gloomy gothic rock. And Robert Smith said, fuck that. I'm going to do Love Cats. I'm going to do Let's Go to Bed. I'm going to do all these pop songs. But he was getting close to 30, and he was starting to feel like he didn't accomplish what he wanted yet. So he wanted to set out and make a memorable album. Plus, he was depressed and on LSD again. And,
wait. Was he addicted to LSD?
He was on hallucinative drugs, because he's Robert Smith.
Yeah. Boys don't cry, Lloyd. Boys don't cry.
Yeah, boys don't cry. I cried a little. But the result was this amazing, sonically impressive album. You know, it's a culmination of all the musical directions that the Cure had taken up until that point. They kind of figured it all out, got it all together, and just made this one massively impressive album. It's very dense. You know, it's got a lot of dark deep, dark synthesized sounds and guitar loops and lots of guitar effects. It's got introspective, moody Robert Smith lyrics. And then they threw in a couple of, love songs, Pictures of You, Love Song, Lullaby, just to balance it all out. I think
who wins in a fist fight, Morrissey or Robert Smith? Fist fight, just straight up
fist fight.
Straight
up fist fight.
Yeah, Donnybrook.
Morrissey's dirty. Yeah, it's gonna be Morrissey.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
He's a douche.
He is such a fucking prick.
But I love the Smiths.
Yeah.
My first car license plate. When I bought my own car for the first time, I got. Don't tell me
you vanity plated. It's like,
yeah, I did. Yeah, Fascination Street was the name of my license plate.
How did you fit that on a license plate?
I can't. You want to know?
Yeah, I kind of do.
I didn't realize when I did it.
Oh God.
FSC to abbreviate fascination, and an ST for street.
Fascist.
Throw an I in there, you got fascist.
Yeah, good job.
I drove around with that for 4 years until I could get rid of it.
Yeah. Drove around with a fucking license plate that says fascist.
Yeah.
That is genius.
The thing I love about this album, you got the opening song, Plain Song. It's just like this big, booming, orchestral soundscape, just sets up the whole album. And it keeps going back to that. I mean, they just had a perfect flow on this album.
All right.
No, I love it. It has to be played loud. You have to listen to this song loud. Hey. I
don't think Jen likes The Cure. I think she's got.
Hon, do you like The Cure?
She's got to like The Cure.
The Cure. What's The Cure? That's about what I expected.
Exactly. It's what fascists like.
It's a fascist band. Robert Smith's the opposite of a fascist.
I once did a show that was top desert island albums. And I picked a Cure album for that, but I did not pick this one. Mm-hmm. I picked Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, which is a much more poppy and double album. And my reasoning behind that, I was called out by another Cure fan, said, why would you pick that album? And that is my reason. That was, if I'm on a desert island, I want to be happy a little bit. I want some more poppy songs. Plus it's a double album. This is by far the better album.
Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me goes better with coconuts. So if you're, if that's your thing. Okay.
That's your thing, yeah.
Number 2, this album came out on August 16th, 1985. This is a band that's been around for a long time, is still around, obviously has changed very much. This was a band that started as like a skate rock funk band, and now they're like one of the bigger arena rock bands in the world. This is their second studio album, produced by George Clinton from P-Funk, and a whole lot of cocaine and heroin. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, Freaky Styley. I absolutely love this album. It is Larry is making faces. It's okay.
Larry, like Mother's Milk, okay.
They're one of my least favorite bands of all time.
I assumed. It's okay. This has some great stuff. A song that makes my wife absolutely fucking crazy, and I play it on purpose when she's around. Yertle the Turtle. It's
like that song.
Dr. Seuss Yertle the Turtle poem put to music, and it's just, look at that turtle go, bro, and it makes my wife fucking nuts. But there's some great American.
Larry is really cringing over there.
I'm totally with Lindsay on this one.
one of my favorite early Chili Pepper songs, American Ghost Dance. There's a great cover of a Sly Stone and the Family Stone song, If You Want Me to Stay. It's a great album. It's funky. I love this album. And it's indicative of, you don't get to see a lot of bands that are around for that long.
No.
And particularly see, like, if you were to say to somebody, listen to the newest, 3-year-old Chili Peppers album. Now, granted, they're 50-plus-year-old guys. I don't think they'd ever be able to listen to this album and go, those are the same fucking guys. You know what I mean? And that's kind of cool for me. So that's my number 2, Freaky Styley, Chili Peppers. So, number 1, I think Larry already played his cards, right? Did you already tell us your number 1?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was one of the ones we already talked about.
It is one of the ones we already talked about, but I don't know if I said it was. My number 1 album of the 80s is Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Nice.
I knew you'd have Thriller.
I love Michael Jackson. I love the Jackson 5. I love Michael Jackson. I can separate the man from the music.
Yeah.
You know, I can, as much as I hate Ted Nugent, I can still listen to fucking Ted Nugent songs.
We just had a long conversation with Mike Simonetta, your friend and our friend, because we did a Pint Movie Invitational, and the movie starred Kevin Spacey. So Kevin Spacey is not a good person, but he was a fantastic
one of the best
actor.
One of the best actors I've ever seen.
So sometimes, unfortunately, when it comes to art, you've got to be subjective. You know, you've got to say, okay, look, he's maybe, and with MJ, it's different because there's nothing that he was never convicted of anything, but there's a lot of scuttlebutt. There's a lot of hearsay, and there's a lot of, so you got to take it with so much, but.
Right. I judge on the music. I love his music. I think that he was a brilliant artist, a brilliant songwriter for being a guy who really wasn't a musician.
Right.
You know, he would tell people what to play. He would get Billie Jean in his head and hum it to somebody, and they would start playing the music. He just a brilliant musician, and Thriller is a fucking perfect record, man.
Yeah.
Not to mention the best video of all time, hands fucking down.
Thriller.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. There's
Vincent Price.
Yeah, there is no fucking comparison. There's no even discussion. You know, John Landis and Vincent Price. There's no discussion. That is the best video of all time.
Have you ever seen that video on YouTube of, I think it's in Malaysia or Thailand, of the prisoners?
Yeah.
The prisoners who do the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Unreal. It's so cool.
That's
I was probably 6 or 7 when the Thriller video came out.
Yeah.
And the very end, when he opens his eyes and smiles, turns his head, scared the fuck out of me. Like there's a couple things that scared the fuck out of me as a little kid. One of them was Michael Jackson doing that. The other, when I was even younger in the 70s, was I was scared shitless of Kiss. Because Kiss was huge.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. And they would pop up on some TV show, and I was fucking gone.
I loved Kiss. Oh man, that was my shit. Kiss had put out anything decent in the 80s, they would have been on the list. But, Thriller, man, for me is got to be my my top record of the 80s.
All right, Lloyd, what do you got?
I guess I'm the only one who pulled Thriller off the top 10.
That's okay.
Like Larry, I shed a little tear. But my next one, I don't think anybody here even likes this band.
I told you he'd have the fucking Pixies, didn't I? Say he'd have the fucking Pixies.
we were doing over under on what you were, Bauhaus, Pixies, Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah. I was waiting for some Susie.
I talk about this band quite a bit. I went to see this band in December of just last year. And it is one of my favorite bands of all time. Probably my favorite college band from Boston. The Pixies, 1988, their debut album, Surfer Rosa, produced by Steve Albini. They have these, very distinctive sound, experimental. They got punk rock, surf rock. They got this very dynamic, loud, quiet stuff going on. They'll be really hard, and then a sudden burst of like a memorable melodic pop melody. They've got crazy, surreal lyrics. If you had to describe them, I'd say they're like brutally beautiful. I don't know if it's an acquired taste. I love them so much. I don't know how other people can't like them. Jarring guitar pop sound inspired a lot of other groups, including Nirvana. I mean, big time Nirvana. I think Surfer Rosa is one of like Kurt Cobain's favorite albums.
Pixies and Meat Puppets were like his biggest fucking things.
And the Melvins too.
Yeah.
He was a big Melvins fan.
There's a song on this album called Something Against You. You would swear if you didn't know it was a Pixies song, you would think it was a Nirvana song.
Nice.
It only had one single called Gigantic, which is a really great song. But most people would know Where Is My Mind. Yep. It's been featured in Fight Club, HBO show The Leftovers, Mr. Robot, a lot of other things.
Yep.
I just can't say enough about the Pixies. I mean, I've seen them a few times. They're fantastic. The singer is just normal looking dude, just like anyone else.
Just a lumpy.
Yeah, he is very lumpy. And they were
You
one of
just
those
don't
bands-
expect what you hear out of them.
Right.
They were one of those bands that even though they're together again, like in kind of like that reunion type thing, that ended early. Like there could have been a lot more from them.
I mean, they're still around. They're still doing stuff. But when Kim Deal left, they're not the same Pixies anymore.
Yeah. Well, she was better on the Breeders anyway.
She was great in the Breeders. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. She wasn't
Yeah.
better.
No, it was still good.
Breeders were good. Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's a good
they're no
record.
Pixies.
No.
But this album, Bone Machine, Break My Body, Broken Face, Gigantic.
Yeah.
Good album. Good album.
I love it. I love this album. I listen to this album more than any of your albums on my list.
Well, I'll finish up. My number one is probably the same thing for me. It's probably the album that I still listen to the most. It is a band that I absolutely love. So this is a band that I've loved beginning to end. What?
I'm just getting ready for this. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Jodeci.
Yes. Yeah. It's Jodeci. It's Forever My Man. Forever
Yes.
Yeah.
You fucking love that. I knew you loved that.
No, this band's next album is my favorite of their albums, but it came out in the 90s. This is the 80s. This band was together for many years. Lead singer left. They had this whole album written and the music recorded. Couldn't do anything with it without the singer. They hire this other singer. He puts lyrics on it. And it was, at the time, one of the weirdest, most inventive things that I had ever heard in ninth grade. It's Faith No More, The Real Thing.
Okay.
I knew that was coming.
Oh, Faith No More is one of my favorite bands. And I think when Mike Patton joined, the albums after this are more indicative of what he brought to the band.
Oh, 100%.
100%. Angel Dust is a perfect album.
Great record.
Perfect album. Like if we do the 90s, it's number one. I'm telling you now, it's fine. We'll elaborate. But The Real Thing for again, a band that recorded an entire album and just lost their singer.
Yeah.
Everything was there. They give this album to Patton. He writes lyrics and you get epic. You get Falling to Pieces. You get The Real Thing, which is a fucking great song, Underwater Love. You get all these incredible songs. And to top it off, the last song on the album is, like me and Lloyd did the show where we did years ago, our favorite cover songs and how rare it is. I'm not saying this is better, but how rare it is to either be better than or close to as good. And their version of War Pigs is as close. It's as close as you can get to almost being as good, if not better. It's not better, but it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I like Cake's version too.
Yeah.
No, fuck Cake. I've never been a big Cake fan.
I like a red velvet cake. I got to see Faith No More tour on The Real Thing at Toad's Place.
I wish.
Who the hell opened up for them? Circus of Power opened up for them. I'm standing outside of Toad's Place, and Mike Patton walks up. And the dudes, if you got to Toad's Place early enough, the dudes would just be walking around outside.
Yeah.
And we're standing outside. First, Jim Martin comes out. And I was like, yo, let me get a pair of those red glasses, because he was wearing the red glasses with the fucking. And he's like, no, man, fuck you. And I'm just like, well, you probably got like 100 of them. He's like, yeah, but still, fuck you. And then he just walked into Toad's Place. But he was like funny about it. He was like laughing. And then Mike Patton comes over and he's like, hey, like where there's a pizza place and there was Yorkside Pizza right next door. And while I'm talking to him, a girl walks up and she's like, oh my God, Mike Patton, I love you. And he screams in her face, bite my pubic hair. And then just walks into fucking Yorkside.
Oh my God.
But what a great show. They did War Pigs at that show. I remember they did the Nestle's, the Nestle's White Chocolate song.
Yeah.
It's not on, I don't know if they ever put it out on a record, but I love their cover of Easy by Lionel Richie.
It's a EP.
It's an EP? Okay.
Songs to Make Love To.
Perfect, yeah. Yeah, perfect. What a weird fucking guy, Mike Patton. Do you remember when they performed on Saturday Night Live and he had like a prosthetic arm hanging out of the front of his pants?
Yeah.
Just a real weird guy, but man, that fucking The Real Thing and Angel Dust are just both fucking great records. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I'm a little bummed that I overlooked Faith No More.
Yeah, and that is let me see here. I have it written down. June 20th of 89. So that's literally like
Just snuck
almost
in.
not an 89 and 80s record, but that it just snuck in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a favorite of mine forever. Me and my wife, it's something that we bonded. She was a fan. She always holds it over me because I never saw them, and she saw them open for Guns N' Roses and Metallica at Foxborough, like in that big tour when that was all going on.
I saw him on that tour. I saw him with Voivod at some college, and I saw him at Toad's Place. Those are the 3 times I saw him.
I wish.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wish. So there it is, our top 10 albums of the 1980s. And as we always say, whenever we do a show like this, if we were to reconvene a year from now, it's probably going to have some different choices on there. Because this stuff is very fluid, and Larry's like butthurt over the stuff he had to get rid of.
I'm looking at my honorable mentions. They're not even honorable mentions. They're albums that should be in the top 10, but I couldn't fucking put them in there.
Yeah,
it's so tough. So
yeah,
hard.
my next 10 could be a good top.
Yeah, exactly. I told that to my wife. That's what I said. I was like, I can take the 10 I have here in the ones that didn't make it, and you can make an argument that should be a top 10.
Yeah,
all on its own.
All right.
Whatever.
So let's do this. Pint of Comics. Check us out. Weekly new episodes. And go to Connecticut Cult Classics. Check Larry's page out. Hopefully soon we'll start getting some movement after this COVID shit and get some shows going. But in either case, check out horrornewsnetwork.net. You can find Larry's reviews there and all different great reviews from our friend Sean McLaughlin and all the folks over there. But what I'll say for now is, why don't we reconvene, guys? Why don't we start tomorrow with our 90s lists, and then we'll record that in a couple weeks.
You got to give me a break.
God damn it.
Couple weeks, all right? You're going to get a 90s episode soon.
Top 40, then, right? Top 40?
That, for me, that will be a tougher one. But until then, Lloyd, what do you say?
If it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break. See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!